A billionaire was about to step into his luxury car, when suddenly a little poor girl screamed from across the street, "Don't get in the car!" At first, everyone thought she was just a scared child, but seconds later, the car exploded. She had just saved his life. The shocking part? The girl claimed her dead brother warned her this would happen. A brother who once worked for the billionaire himself, and died under mysterious circumstances. As the truth unfolds, the billionaire discovers a hidden betrayal inside his own company, a deadly conspiracy, and a secret connection that changes both their lives forever. This is a story about courage, justice, and how sometimes the smallest voice can save the most powerful man in the world. The scream cut through the busy street like lightning. "Don't get in the car!" Everything froze. The traffic lights blinked green. People kept walking. Horns echoed in the distance. But for billionaire Daniel Hartwell, time suddenly slowed. He had one foot inside his luxury black sedan when he heard the voice. Small, desperate, trembling, yet filled with urgency. He turned. Standing near the sidewalk was a little girl, no older than 8 or 9. Her clothes were worn, slightly oversized, and her shoes looked older than she was. She clutched a small basket tightly against her chest as if it were the only thing she owned. Her eyes were wide with fear, and they were locked on him. Daniel frowned. At first, he assumed she was shouting at someone else. After all, people didn't usually scream at one of the richest men in the city. Behind him, his security guards instantly became alert. "Sir, please get inside," one of them said firmly. "We shouldn't delay." Daniel hesitated. The girl stepped forward again. "Please," she shouted, her voice cracking. "Don't get in that car." Now everyone was staring. Office workers slowed down. A taxi driver leaned out his window. Even Daniel's driver looked confused through the windshield. Daniel straightened up slowly. He studied the girl carefully. She wasn't begging. She wasn't asking for money. She looked terrified, and somehow completely certain. Daniel Hartwell was not a man who believed in coincidences. At 45 years old, he had built Hartwell Technologies into a billion-dollar empire. Newspapers called him a genius investor. Business magazines called him ruthless. He trusted numbers, data, and planning, not emotions, especially not warnings from strangers. Yet something about the girl's expression made his chest tighten. He walked toward her despite his guards' protests. "What's your name?" he asked calmly. The girl swallowed. "Amara." Her voice was small now, almost shy compared to her earlier scream. "And why?" Daniel asked gently. "Shouldn't I get in my car, Amara?" She looked toward the sedan. Her hands trembled. "Because something bad is going to happen." A murmur spread through the crowd. One security guard sighed quietly. "Sir, she's probably just confused." Daniel almost agreed. Almost. But Amara shook her head quickly. "No! I saw it!" Daniel's eyebrows narrowed. "Saw what?" She hesitated, struggling to find words. "The car. It's not safe." Someone nearby chuckled. Another person whispered, "Kids imagine things." Daniel felt slightly embarrassed. His schedule was packed. Investors were waiting downtown. Millions of dollars depended on today's meeting. He turned toward the car again. "Thank you for your concern," he said politely. Amara's eyes filled with tears. "Please," she whispered, stepping closer. "I'm not lying." Her voice wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud anymore. It was scared and real. Daniel paused again. For reasons he couldn't explain, he asked one more question. "How do you know?" The girl looked down at the ground. Then she said something that made Daniel's heart skip. "Because my brother told me." Daniel blinked. "Where is your brother?" She pointed toward the sky. "He died last year." Silence fell. Even the guard stopped moving. Daniel suddenly felt uneasy. He didn't believe in supernatural things. He certainly didn't believe messages came from the dead, yet her sincerity shook him. "What did he say?" Daniel asked quietly. Amara looked directly into his eyes. "He said a powerful man would get into a black car today and never come back." A cold wave ran through Daniel's body. The description was too specific, too strange. Still, logic fought. Back immediately. Coincidence. Imagination. Nothing more. He turned again toward the sedan. "Sir," his driver called gently, "we're already running late." Daniel nodded. "Yes, enough of this." He placed his hand on the car door. Behind him. "Wait!" Amara ran forward suddenly and grabbed his sleeve. Her small hand trembled violently. "Please don't go," she cried. "I don't want you to die." Yo. Words hit harder than he expected. For a moment, Daniel saw pure fear in her eyes. Not manipulation, not acting. Fear for him. A stranger. Daniel Hartwell had made decisions worth billions, but none felt as strange as this one. He looked at the car, then at the girl, then back at the car again. Finally, he sighed. All right. His security team stared in shock. "I'll take another vehicle," Daniel said calmly. The driver frowned. "Sir, just do it." The guards exchanged confused glances but obeyed. Daniel stepped away from the sedan. Amara exhaled deeply, relief flooding her face. And at that exact moment, the world exploded. A deafening boom tore through the street. Flames burst from the black sedan. Windows shattered. People screamed. The shockwave knocked Daniel backward onto the pavement. Smoke filled the air. Car alarms screamed endlessly. Daniel stared in horror at the burning wreck, the car he had almost entered seconds earlier. If he had ignored her, he would be dead. Slowly, his shaking eyes turned toward Amara. The little girl stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. She whispered softly, "I told you." Sirens echoed in the distance. Crowds gathered. Security rushed around him. But Daniel, Hartwell could focus on only one thing. The little girl who had just saved his life, and the terrifying question forming in his mind. How did she know? He stood up slowly, heart pounding. "Amara," he said gently, "I think we need to talk." She nodded, because this was not an accident, and neither of them yet understood that this moment would uncover a secret connecting their lives in ways neither could imagine. Sirens screamed across the city as firefighters rushed toward the burning vehicle. Daniel Hartwell sat on the curb, still shaken. His expensive suit was covered in dust, but he didn't notice. His eyes remained fixed on Amara. The little girl stood quietly now, clutching her basket again, as if nothing unusual had happened. Police officers surrounded the scene. One detective approached Daniel. "Mr. Hartwell, this looks like a targeted explosion." Targeted. The word echoed in Daniel's mind. Someone hadn't just planted a bomb. Someone wanted him dead. Daniel slowly turned toward Amara. "You saved my life," he said softly. She shrugged slightly, uncomfortable with attention. "I just did what my brother told me." Daniel felt a chill again. "What exactly did he tell you?" Amara hesitated. "My brother, he used to work for a big company before he died." Daniel nodded politely. "What company?" She answered without realizing its impact. "Hartwell Technologies." Daniel froze. "That's my company?" Amara looked surprised. "You're the owner?" Daniel nodded slowly. Suddenly, the situation felt far more complicated. "What was your brother's name?" Daniel asked carefully. "Marcus Reed." The name struck Daniel like thunder. Marcus. Reed had been a junior engineer 3 years ago, brilliant, quiet, and passionate. Official reports said he died in a workplace accident involving faulty equipment. Daniel remembered signing the compensation documents himself, but now doubt crept in. What happened to him? Daniel asked gently. Amara's eyes filled with sadness. They said it was an accident, but before he died, he told me something bad was happening at your company. Daniel's heartbeat quickened. What kind of bad? He said powerful people were hiding something, and if anyone found out, they would disappear. Daniel felt the world tilt. Was the explosion connected to this? Had Marcus discovered something dangerous, and had Daniel unknowingly been next? Later that evening, Daniel brought Amara and her guardian to a safe private office. Security was doubled. Police investigations had already confirmed the bomb was professionally planted. This was no random attack. Daniel opened old company files. Late into the night. Marcus Reed's case appeared simple on paper. Equipment malfunction. Workplace accident. Closed investigation. But something felt wrong. Daniel contacted his trusted cybersecurity head, Elena. Pull every record connected. To Marcus Reed, he ordered. Within hours, shocking information appeared. Marcus had accessed restricted financial files weeks before his death. Files connected to a senior executive, Victor Kane, Daniel's own chief operations officer. Hidden payments, secret offshore accounts, illegal contracts. Daniel stared at the screen in disbelief. Victor Kane had been by his side for 10 years, a trusted partner, friend, and now evidence suggested he was running a massive corruption network inside the company. Suddenly everything made sense. Marcus discovered the truth. Marcus died, and now Daniel nearly died too. Elena looked at him seriously. Sir, whoever planted that bomb knows you're getting close. Daniel leaned back slowly. For the first time in years, the billionaire felt fear. Not for his wealth, but for the innocent girl sitting quietly outside his office. The sister of a man who died trying to do the right thing. The next morning, Daniel arranged a secret meeting with federal investigators. Evidence was handed over. But before authorities could act, Victor Kane made his move. News broke online. Billionaire Daniel Hartwell under investigation for financial fraud. Daniel stared at the headlines in shock. Victor had turned the situation against him. Stock prices crashed. Investors panicked. Daniel realized the plan. If Victor destroyed Daniel's reputation, no one would believe his accusations. And worse, Amara might become a target. That night, security cameras caught suspicious vehicles near Daniel's residence. Someone was watching. Daniel made a decision. Instead of hiding, he went public. During a live press conference watched worldwide, he revealed everything. 3 years ago, Daniel said firmly, an employee named Marcus Reed died exposing corruption inside my company. Yesterday, someone attempted to silence me the same way. He paused. And a brave little girl saved my life. The world listened. Public support exploded. Authorities moved quickly. Within 48 hours, Victor Kane was arrested while attempting to flee the country. Hidden accounts confirmed millions stolen through illegal operations. Marcus Reed had been telling the truth all along. Weeks later, peace slowly returned. Daniel visited a small neighborhood where Amara lived. Simple buildings, quiet streets, far from billionaire life. He carried a small framed photo, Marcus Reed, smiling proudly in his work uniform. Daniel sat beside Amara on a park bench. Your brother was a hero, he said gently. She smiled sadly. I know. Daniel took a deep breath. I spent years building success, but I stopped seeing people. Marcus tried to protect the company, and I never even knew. Amara looked at him. He said you were a good man, just too busy. Daniel felt emotion rise in his chest. For the first time, wealth felt meaningless compared to responsibility. He made a promise that day. Hartwell Technologies launched the Marcus Reed Innovation Scholarship, funding education for underprivileged children across the country. Amara became its first student. But the biggest change was Daniel himself. He visited schools. He listened to employees. He rebuilt the company with transparency. One evening, as they walked past the rebuilt headquarters, Amara asked, "Do you still think it was just coincidence?" Daniel looked at the sunset thoughtfully. "I don't know," he admitted. "Maybe your brother warned you, or maybe courage travels through people who refuse to stay silent." He smiled at her. "But I do know one thing." "What?" "You didn't just save my life." He paused. "You helped me become the person I should have been all along." Amara smiled. And somewhere deep inside, Daniel felt something money had never given him before. Peace. Because sometimes, heroes don't wear suits. Sometimes they carry small baskets, worn shoes, and brave hearts big enough to change destiny. A billionaire was about to step into his luxury car, when suddenly a little poor girl screamed from across the street, "Don't get in the car!" At first, everyone thought she was just a scared child, but seconds later, the car exploded. She had just saved his life. The shocking part? The girl claimed her dead brother warned her this would happen, a brother who once worked for the billionaire himself, and died under mysterious circumstances. As the truth unfolds, the billionaire discovers a hidden betrayal inside his own company, a deadly conspiracy, and a secret connection that changes both their lives forever. This is a story about courage, justice, and how sometimes the smallest voice can save the most powerful man in the world.